What's going on, everybody? I wanted to get to this um, and kind of go over this should be common sense. So when we get to certain things and when it comes to law, it's funny to me, like somebody will be like, "Don't you have to be a lawyer to teach law? Don't you have to?" No, you don't. Okay. Anybody can teach law. All right. Regardless. I've had people say, "Well, you should have to have a legal degree to teach law." And I'm like, how can you teach law if you have a legal degree? It's funny when a lawyer is suing, they've never been on a criminal trial themselves. So if a lawyer has never been in a criminal trial, actually felt how it feels to be in a criminal trial, how the hell can they teach you anything? If a lawyer has never had their house or their car taken, how the hell can they teach you? See, people don't get this stuff. It's easy to do stuff when you're not in it. But when you've experienced it and you've gone through it, you have a whole different perspective than someone who's never done it. So, with that being said, how's everybody's day today? I hope it's great. I hope your evening is great. And I hope your night is great. So, we're going to go to simplistic things because sometimes simplicity is the easiest part. I'm just going to use AI, just simple AI. I don't even have to do case law. Okay. We'll go to some citations. Okay. So, look. In legal proceedings, no service of summons generally means what? No jurisdiction. So, in a traffic case, were you served? In your child support case, were you served? And if so, who were you served by? That's a big thing too. So you need to see who performed service. That's why I always tell you the way you got into something is the way you get out of it. Over the defendant's person. So are they talking about natural person or legal person? Doesn't really matter. Whoever comes to answer. A summons is a formal notice of a lawsuit, and proper service is a constitutional requirement to ensure a defendant is aware of the case and can respond. So, a uniform traffic citation is not a summons, it is not issued by a court, it is not a complaint, even if it's signed, unless it meets the qualifications. But still, if you serve a complaint, you must have what? A summons. Without proper service, a court cannot exercise personal jurisdiction and issue a judgment against the defendant. This is not my opinion. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is not my opinion. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm giving you 100% fact. I think I might have to hang it up, man. I'm kind of like this stuff is like this stuff is very simple. Here's why no service of summons leads to lack of jurisdiction. Due pro- due process. Why do I have to go to court and argue my right to travel when I ain't even been served? See, people trick you into going into stuff, arguing, and then you wonder why they don't listen to you because you're ignorant. I'm telling you to cure your ignorance by listening to what I'm saying. You have to learn how to actively listen, okay? The Fifth and 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees due process of law, which includes the right to notice in a hearing before a court can take action against a person. Okay? So people might say, oh, the traffic ticket, it gives hearing. It gives you a notice of a hearing. Yeah, but the notice of the hearing has to come from the court. It can't come from the officer. How can you be an officer, serve me at the side of the road, and then that's enough to get me in the court? No, the court has to send me a notice or a summons to appear to answer to the charges. If not, if I go into court, what am I doing? I'm trespassing. So you wonder why you get thrown into jail. You wonder why you get you get You get arrest warrants issued after you. You wonder why you get the court not listening to you because you're not making them holding them to the procedure. Serving a summons is the primary way to satisfy this notice requirement. Okay, serving a summons, not a complaint, because the traffic ticket can't be both. The person that alleges you doing saying that you did a crime cannot serve you because that person is a witness. They can't occupy two roles. Okay. Personal jurisdiction. Yeah, because it could be challenged. That's why it could be challenged. Personal jurisdiction means the court has the authority to make a judgment against a specific individual or entity. What did I tell you about law? Law has to be individual. It has to show that it applies to the individual. The motor vehicle code does not show that it applies directly to the individual. So you people, you attorneys, you lawyers, you don't even understand the law you practice. Service of a summons is a key factor in establishing personal jurisdiction. Wait. What? Who said that? The winner circle did. We've been saying this. We have been saying this. And people, that's not true. Don't even go into court. Blah, 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 blah. What are you talking about? If somebody issues a traffic ticket, you have to appear somewhere. Who the hell says you have to physically appear? Jesus, man. People out here giving y'all bad information. They gonna get y'all thrown in jail too. Telling you not to appear in court. You out your damn mind. If you don't appear in court, somebody can issue a warrant. You got to know how to appear in court to where where none of this actually applies to you. Federal and state rules of civil procedure outline the requirements for serving a summons and complaint on the defendant. It don't matter if it's criminal. It don't matter if it's civil. Lakers in 5. No, I'm just playing. It, no, I'm just playing. But they have to send you a summons. The court has to send you a summons for them to execute it or impact the judgment. And if they send you a summons, you can challenge it. Failure to comply with these rules can result in a dismissal for what? Lack of personal jurisdiction. It don't matter if you return that summons in 3 days. It don't matter if you return it in 20 days. People, you got to return it in 3 days for common law requirement. And that does not matter. That's why I tell people, it's your understanding. Some people only understand things at a certain level because they only study on a certain level. And then when they get locked in or maybe get remedy, they don't get no other type of different types of remedy because they stick doing the same stuff. So that's you have to broaden your horizon because there's easier ways to do almost everything you're doing. So look, exceptions. There are exceptions, okay? There's always going to be an exception. There are some exceptions to the general rule, such as when a defendant voluntarily waives service. You have to voluntarily waive it. That's why I keep telling you that you have to bring up the fact that they didn't serve you. So when I bring this up to people, they still don't get it. They still don't get it. So a lot of times when I'm talking, there's a reason I'm talking. And I'm not just talking because I like how my voice sounds. So you guys have to remember that if you don't challenge the fact that they never served you, everything they do to you in court is valid. And that's what you have to understand. So what it is you're absolving them, you're giving them indemnity because you're not forcing them or you're not holding them to the standard or the rule. So there are some exceptions to the general rule, such as when a defendant voluntarily waives service or when jurisdiction can be established through other means like statutory consent or minimum contacts. Okay? So they use prima facie evidence to form a minimum contact with a presumption that something could have or could have not happened at the time stated on the uniform traffic citation or the ticket or the child support thing or all child support notice or the criminal indictment or information or the civil hearing. They're using these documents as prima facie evidence to establish a minimum contact. If it's a credit card agreement is under a different state, so they don't have minimum contacts. But the filing of it gives them a minimum. You guys need to read your damn agreements for all y'all people. They're doing fraud. They're ripping me off. They're doing this. It's evil. They're doing it wrong. You need to read your agreements. They're not doing anything wrong. It's you that's doing everything wrong. In essence, a summons is a legal document that formally informs a defendant they are being sued. That's why they don't do this in criminal matters. They don't do this in criminal matters because they are suing you civilly and hoping you agree to it and to make it a criminal matter. So they classified the filing under criminal, but they still don't follow the rules of criminal procedure. And you still can hold them to it. It's easier doing that than going into court arguing all these laws and trying to do audits and all these citations and stuff. That's why y'all lose it. Because y'all got people making stuff complex. That's simple. And you make it complex. Look, without proper service, the defendant is not aware of the lawsuit and therefore cannot participate in the proceedings. This lack of notice in turn prevents the court from having the authority to making a binding judgment against the defendant. So look, in the state of Wisconsin, a court of this state having jurisdiction of the subject matter may listen to what I'm reading into this, because if you ever go to court and they violate your due process rights, please listen to what I'm telling you. I'm gonna moonwalk back. I'm gonna shimmy. I'm gonna James Brown back. Okay, I'm gonna hit it for you. A court of the state having jurisdiction of the subject matter may, without a summons, this is the only way, okay? Now, this is the only way, okay? Without a summons having been served upon a person, exercise jurisdiction in an action over a person with respect to any counterclaim. Okay? So why can they do it on a counterclaim and not an original claim? Because the original claim creates the minimum contact. The way people do not understand law, it baffles me because this is so simple. When someone sues me, I have a right to make a counterclaim, whether permissive or mandatory. So this is why most of you guys lose, because you start going into court and you start alleging all these claims, but you don't set it up in adverse ways using their claim. You literally can use the claim that they filed against you to create a counterclaim against them and estoppel the whole court proceeding. Man, I ain't even gonna read the rest of this. No, I'm gonna give you the rest of this. Asserted against the person in an action which the person has commenced in the state. So this is what I was trying to tell you guys, that the court does not get jurisdiction for minimum contacts. They can, but the prima facie evidence of a traffic ticket, a complaint, information, this is what they're going off of. The court is not going off of the actual details of the complaint. The court is going off what you think. It's not what you think is going on in court. You guys got to learn how to pay attention. Okay, when you're not paying attention, that's why you're like, oh, they're not listening to me. Every time I go in the court, blah, blah, blah. And you don't even listen to yourself. You don't even hear yourself. You're not even thinking. So when you're going into court, you need to learn from your experience instead of just hopping from guru to guru or person to person to thinking that they're going to give you a different result when the same problem exists, which is you. You're the problem. You don't know how to listen. You don't know how to pay attention, and you don't know how to see what's going on. And the reason why, because you can't see through the deception. You don't know how to center yourself. When you're in court, center yourself. Let go of all your preconceived notions and actively listen. The judge will teach you more in a court setting than you will learn on 50 YouTube videos, except if they're mine. And with that being said, I'm just playing. You guys have a great day, great evening, great night, great week. Happy Cinco, happy Mother's Day, man. And if nobody told you I love you, you know what it is. Over here on Winter Circle, we trying to get y'all these W's, man. And I'm out.